everyone, this is Baymon, LOL, otherwise known as CMonster80, and in the background you see the MLG Dallas Winter Championships, Complexity versus Team Solo Mid. This is just one of those things I'm just going to use as my background for this little tips and tricks video. So what I want to talk about today, the question that is inevitably in every person's mind that dies when they're playing, when they're still in the laning phase. Why is my jungler not helping me? Well, there's a lot of answers to that question. The first answer to that question is your jungler's not helping you because he can't. And what that tends to mean is that your lane's pushed. He doesn't want to run into a situation where he has low health, low mana, or he himself is simply not sure at what angle to take them on. So rather than to risk himself and risk feeding the person who you are laning against, he has chosen not to feed and allow you to simply work through the lane yourself. And I know that seems like a cop-out, but I've been laning enough now to to be able to tell you that it's really not a good thing for the jungler to feed your opponent. It makes things difficult. It makes it so that you are not able to do the things you want to do because now your opponent has a lot better items and is a lot further along than you are. So what does that mean? That means that if your jungler's not coming to help you, he's helping you in a way. He may not directly be helping you, but he's helping you by not feeding your opponent. What's another reason? Well, this is something I'm kind of passionate about, and that is you chose not to give your jungler a leash. Now, I know there's no rules anywhere in League of Legends that says you have to give your jungler a leash. But there's a few things that giving your jungler a leash does help. It helps your jungler because he's coming out with more mana. He's coming out with more health because he may not have had to use a health pot, or maybe he used a health pot but it left him at a much higher health than otherwise. Or the leash would have assisted him in not using his smite, and thus he would have gone straight to the lizards from the blue golems and would have had a much better time with leveling a little bit faster. Now again, like my first explanation, this seems like somewhat of a cop-out, but it's really not. If you don't give your jungler a leash and you're in a position to give them a leash, or you don't give your jungler some help and they get invaded, it's going to put your jungler behind. And you don't want a jungler who's level 4 to come into your lane when you and your opponent are level 7 and get owned and get his face ripped off by your opponent and allow them to get that bit of extra gold. Because maybe they just gave up, your jungler just gave up first blood because he was coming into your lane as that level 4 and you guys are level 7. Or maybe your jungler just came out and he was at half health where he could have been at 3/4 health, and he again feeds your opponent in lane. So before you start complaining to your jungler, before you start getting nasty at your jungler for not helping, for never ganking, because I've seen it a million times where the person goes, "You never gank, you never help me, why are you not helping me?" The reason that they're not helping you a lot of times is because they are not able to help you. Maybe you need to look at what their situation is. Maybe you need to look at where they are in their game. Maybe you need to look at the fact that you didn't help give a leash, or one of your teammates didn't help leash for that jungler, and it left your jungler in a much more difficult position. So I guess what I'm trying to say is maybe be a little considerate of your jungler, and maybe he'll help you out a little bit more. I tend to try to avoid the rule of, well, if you don't help me, I'm not going to help you. I'm still going to help people even if you don't help me, but it makes my life a lot easier as a jungler to help my opponent out, or help my teammate out if I'm a little bit ahead because I was given a leash, or because I was in a better position to come and do what I needed to do. So that's it for this tips and trips video. I hope you guys got a little bit of something out of it. Again, these tips and tricks are not for people who have been playing for a while. These are for new people and for people who have not been playing the game very long at all. So that's it, and I hope you guys enjoying the videos. I appreciate any positive feedback or even negative feedback as long as it's constructive. And I will see you guys next time.